Today is Thursday, the 4th of February 2021. This is a video for Health One users about the COVID vaccination implementation in Health One. First of all, we're going to find a list of over 70s, over 85s, over 80s, over 70s. Then we're going to show you how best to check the PPSN number of the patients. And then we're going to talk about creating a disease flag for these patients to make it easier. We have already sent out some query plus analyses. These are these analyses here with the book and the glasses, perform database analyses. So if you click on that button and you go down to the Health One analyses, we have already sent out this group. If you click the plus here, you'll see them. This group of Health One analyses, which will give you all you require for the over 70s. We've already done another video going through this and explaining how these work. You can do them all in one go by simply clicking on the top one and going to Excel COVID Vac 2021, and you'll get the whole lot of them in one go, plus your numbers. For the purposes of this video, I'm going to get a list of my 85 and over who have been given the flu vaccine in 2020. You can see the hint there below it, list of all patients aged 85 and over who have had a flu vaccine in the winter 2020 and who are not, what does it say? And who are not tagged as nursing home patients. You can ignore that in most cases, that last bit. So you have that. So I'm just going to execute that one analysis for the moment. And you can see that you get a list here of patients. In this case, I have 91 of them. I have in this analysis displayed the patient's telephone number and their PPS number, both their telephone private and telephone mobile. We displayed these telephone numbers by changing the display here of the results. You can do this with any query plus. And if you just click on that, you'll find what we are displaying. And in this case, you can see we're displaying all these things, telephone mobile and telephone private and PPS number. So it's easy to display those things. You can export these patients, this list, to Excel by clicking on the Excel button up there, and you'll get a list. From this list, you will see that the PPS number is missing in some of the patients, and you need this for your vaccinations. Here I'm sitting at the patient selector, and you can see I have patient age over here. If you haven't patient age there, you can simply click on configure and tick one of these boxes, such as patient age. If you tick it, it'll come up here, any of these boxes. So I have patient age here, and I have selected it for greater than 84. And if I filter by age, I see all my 85s, 86, etc. I'm also filtering by the doctor in charge in this particular case. I can also filter by the date of the last transaction, any sort of a transaction, whether it's consultation or a prescription or a planning. So I've said only list me patients who have a transaction since the 1st of January 2020. This reduces my list to 56 patients. That is with this doctor in charge, greater than 84, and seen since 2020. Now, in these patients, you can see that the PPS number is missing in some of them. So in our case, the secretary will ring these patients or their next of kin and get their PPS number. However, if they have a medical card, we can get the number directly from the PCRS list as follows. This can be done by clicking on Tools, GMS Duplicate Manager, and PCRS Parser here. There's a video which describes this in detail. But basically, you go to the PCRS website here and download your list. If there are 2 or 3 or 4 lists, you download the 2 or 3 or 4 lists by switching doctors on the PRS site. Then you open these files all together or one by one from wherever you download them to. In this case, PCRS, and you list them all there, and the number of patients will come up here. Once you click on Start, it will analyze all of those, and you get then a result matching patients. That is a list of patients on the PCRS site that match the local patients. matching on identifiers, but not on GMS details. Patient not found locally, something is missing like O apostrophe Sullivan instead of O Sullivan and stuff like this. And you various other things, which, as I say, are described in another video. But if you want to get the PPS numbers, you can, for example, click on this button here, and you'll get a list of all the patients. This is a list of the patients on the PCRS site for this doctor. And this includes their PPS number and their medical card number, both of which you have to assume are correct. The analysis has already told us that the medical card number here, which is the PCRS medical card number, agrees with the one locally. They're matching. But the PPS number may not be. So if you want a particular patient, you can filter this by name, go down the list to your name, and once you find your patient, you can click on this button down here, update the PPS number, and that will update the PPS number locally without you having to ring the patient. So once you do this download and analyze it and see these results, they will be available for everybody in the practice to see. In my case, these are the last ones we did, even though I'm not downloading them today, but I did download them the other day. What you should not do for the moment is select all of these and update the PPS number, because it just takes too long and there's a timeout problem with it. We will manage that separately. Of course, you have to note that this applies only to your GMS patients. Your private patients' PPS numbers can't be updated in this way. An alternative to all of this is to create a disease flag for all of these patients. And I have done exactly that for my over 70s relevant patients. And so I've got rid of all my filters here except the doctor in charge, and I have a disease flag here for COVID-19. And this gives me a list of all my patients, in this case, who are over 70 and who have had a flu vaccine, and those who have not had a flu vaccine or have been seen in the past 12 months. So this is a very good list of patients that are due to be vaccinated, 313 in this case, greater than that. And it's very quick and very easy. So you have to do nothing. Once you have a disease flag, you don't have to worry about anything except to type it in here in this place. I'm now going to show you how you create this disease flag, and there are other videos on this subject. So I can go through these, look at the PPS number, decide whether they're GMS patient or not. This patient isn't, these patients are, and there's no PPS number. So I can either go online and get the PPS number, or I can take it from the PCRS parser. How do I create this disease flag for these patients? I go back to my database of Query Plus Analysis. I pick each one of these in this case. I execute it and get a result. So with the result of any analysis, once I find it, I can select them all. I can click on the red flag here and flag the result. I can associate any of these flags to all of these patients in one go by clicking on that. If this isn't here, I can configure it, and I can define my flags over here by clicking, for example, on COVID and going down and taking COVID-19 or anything else I like, and moving that over there, and it's there at the moment. So this is there for a disease flag. And that's how I flagged all my patients who are both in this category and in the other categories over 70. The reason I did it this way is because I'm less likely to have any dead patients here. Most of them are likely to be alive because they've either had a vaccine or they've been seen in the past 12 months. In fact, we found very, very few of the patients who had died. So this is a very good list. So just purely by looking at the patient selector, we can go down through them, fix their telephone numbers if necessary, ring the patient up and talk to them about an appointment. And that's the end of this recording. Thank you.